continuous dialogue with Australia, and now they inform us that there is a shortage of 1 million homes in Australia. 1 million homes, which they need to build like yesterday. That's the sense of urgency. And they want to invite all of you. They are willing to help with financial support to help you develop your businesses in Australia. They are willing to allow you to take all the different technical expertise, whether it's masons, electricians, plumbers, whatever professions or skills are required to build those million homes. They are willing to give full access to Australia from Indian experts, Indian skilled labor. They are also willing to train them in the initial period so that they get certified for Australian standards. And if we miss the bus, if we don't catch this opportunity, we will only have ourselves to blame.
Times, India's Commerce and Industry Minister, Mr. Goyal, revealed he's in deep negotiations with the Albanese government. And get this, the deal? To build 1 million homes in Australia. Price tag, $500 billion. And who's building them? Not your sons and daughters, not your nieces and nephews. Indian immigrant workers flown in and trained to our standards. What the hell is happening? And who's paying for it? Or some foreign Gulf state money. And if you're already not furious enough, this is going to put you over the edge. This wasn't announced in Canberra, it was announced in Mumbai. Not to you, not to the Australian people. And this is what happens when a country is flat broke. We can't even back our tradies, our builders, our own people to build our homes in our country. Our own government doesn't even have the confidence in Australians to get the bloody job done. And you've got to ask yourself this, is this really about building homes? Or is this just another avenue to flood the place with people, hidden under a shiny new banner of housing affordability? Because make no mistake, this is a sellout of Australia. Not policy, not leadership, just weakness and betrayal. You want to see public outrage? Pull the trigger on this deal. If you thought the marches on the weekend were small, Albo, wait until you practically piss the entire country off with this deal. Tradies, contractors, small builders, and the families that they support. You'll practically unite an entire country. And they won't stay quiet on this one. These men and women in the building industry have hardened hands from decades of heavy lifting, backs broken from heavy work, and patience worn thin by an industry that is buried in red tape, where they can barely move on site without a form, without a permit, or another bureaucrat coming in telling them how to do a job they've done for their entire life. And now the government wants to tell them that they're not good enough to build their own goddamn country. That's not just insulting, that's a flat out betrayal of the Australian people. This government has no backbone. We are drowning in $900 billion worth of debt, forecasted to be 1.3, 1.4 trillion in 2029. And instead of making the tough hard calls like they should be doing, they refuse to cut spending, refuse to back Australians, and their only answer? Let's flood the nation with more people and then tax everyone into oblivion. That's not progress, that's a slow death of a country. And this points to a broken nation, one without a backbone to make the decisions needed to get us out of this vicious cycle of debt. We are broke, we can't even build our own homes. So now we look overseas, instead of looking to your sons and daughters, your nieces and nephews, but to foreign workers the very own houses our families should be building. That's not leadership, that's not progress, that's the biggest sellout this nation has ever seen.
The Commonwealth Brius Corporate Australia. Opening statement. Your Honour, members of the jury. Today we present evidence that the Australian people have been defrauded, not by rumour, not by theory, but by statute, registration and omission. The case is titled, The Commonwealth versus Corporate Australia. Exhibit A, the corporate registration. We present the ABN registry, entity name Commonwealth of Australia, ABN 12209547989, listed as a business, not a nation, not a sovereign people, a corporation. Who owns it? Who profits and why wasn't the public informed? Exhibit B, the 1901 Constitution. The Constitution is still in force, but it is being ignored. No referendum was ever held to replace it. No lawful transition to corporate rule was voted on by the founding law with corporate policy. Exhibit C, the Australia Act 1986. They claimed it severed ties with Britain, but to pass it, they needed Britain's permission. That's not independence, that's subordination. We submit Both the UK and Australian versions of the Act passed simultaneously. If we were sovereign, why ask for permission? Exhibit D, Sue v. Hill, 1999. The High Court ruled the UK is a foreign power, yet we still swear allegiance to a monarch of that power. We cannot serve two masters, and yet we do. How can Parliament be lawful if it operates under allegiance to a foreign monarch? Exhibit E, the Colonial Laws Validity Act 1865, still in effect. It states, colonial laws are void if they conflict with UK law, unless properly repealed. We ask, was this law ever lawfully repealed, or are vast portions of Australian legislation still invalid? Exhibit F, legal fiction and the all-caps name, the birth certificate. Issued not to the child in but to the state-created entity. An artificial legal person, a trust, used in courts, all-caps name, on bills and licenses. We argue this is not the living man or woman. This is the property of the state. Created without informed consent. Closing statement. Your Honor, this is not speculation, this is fraud by design. The real Commonwealth of Australia, created by the people in 1901, has been replaced by a silent shadow. A corporate mirror image with none of the protections and all of the control. We do not seek chaos. We seek truth, we seek remedy. We seek restoration of the sovereign rights of the people. The people rest their case.
He stood with a smile, but his words were a disguise. Our Prime Minister, a puppet, a master of lies. Signed away the heartland, sold out overseas. Australia's soul shackled down on its knees. Give us back our country, let the people stand. This is our home, our blood, our land. Diggers didn't fight for a flag to fall. We are Australia, we'll rise through it all. Overseas migrants with their greedy hands, buying up houses, tearing through lands. The working man's voice is drowned in the noise of money and power, of stolen choice. Give us back our country, let the people stand. This is our home, our blood, our land. Diggers didn't fight for a flag to fall. We are Australia, we'll rise through it all.
They lie, the men who tell us, for reasons of their own. Want is here a stranger, misery's unknown. Where the nearest suburb and the city proper meet, high windowsill is level with the faces in the street. Drifting past to the beat of weary feet. I sorrow for the owners of the faces in the street, and cause I have to sorrow in a land so young and fair. See upon those faces the marks of wanton care, and I look in vain for traces of the fresh and fair and sweet, in the sallow sunken faces that are drifting through the street. Drifting on to the straight restless feet. I sorrow for the owners of the faces in the street. And I wonder, would the apathy of wealthy men endure? Were all their windows level with the faces of the poor? Our mammon's slaves in these shall not your hearts in terror beat. When your God demands a reason for the sorrows of the street, the wrong things and the bad things, and the sad things that we meet in the filthy lane and alley and the cruel and heartless street. And I cried, oh God Almighty, if thy might does still endure, now show me in a vision for the wrongs of earth the cure. And lo, with shops all shuttered, I saw a city street, and in the warning distance heard the tramp of many feet. Pouring on to a drum's loud threatening beat, and the war hymns and the cheering of the people in the street. Must be while the world goes rolling round its course, the warning pen shall write in vain, the warning voice grow hoarse, and kindle eyes all blazing bright, revolution's heat, and flashing swords reflecting rigid faces in the street. Coming near, to a drum's dull distant beat,